Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. We're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and on Rumble with less than a month to go before the 2023 NFL Draft. We'll talk draft on today's show. We'll also discuss, once again, the latest in the sagas for Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers. Beginning with Lamar, we've asked it before, we'll ask it again. Will Lamar Jackson be traded? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me in the comments section. Does it end up happening? I don't know anymore. When the non-exclusive tag got placed, I'm like, he's gone. Then every NFL team was like, no, we don't have interest, actually. So it's been a very weird story for Lamar Jackson. He's started to do his own PR stuff because he really should have an agent. I think that helped him out in a big way here. I'm going to go with no, Sam. I don't know anymore.
Part of my language, we're going to kick things off some fireworks. This is like the mind fuck of the NFL offseason. Like this entire time we've been sitting here almost concluding and just assuming that Lamar Jackson's going to be traded. It's just a matter of where. And now we're sitting here thinking, man, the odds are now looking like he won't get dealt at all. It's just weird. I don't get it.
Everything about it's weird.
I don't get it.
Nothing about it just makes sense.
I don't get what some bad teams are thinking about when they just decide they don't want to look at, even evaluate Lamar Jackson or even contact him and see what the trade price would be, what the contract price would be. Like we've talked about for weeks, it screams of collusion.
None of it together. Like you can make individual arguments for different teams, but combined, it just doesn't seem quite right. So get those votes in. Y for yes, N for no. Rashard Lee asks, has Rodgers gotten traded yet? No, he has not. The only real deadline comes before the season begins when the option bonus is due for Rodgers that Green Bay does not want to pay. So I am of the mindset, and this is the pin poll today, who has more leverage in the Aaron Rodgers trade conference between the Jets and the Packers? I believe it is the Packers because Green Bay is already paying Rodgers right now. He's on their books, and they can get out of it before week 1. So for now, if they want to ask for more, the Jets are the one that don't have him on their team. Like the Jets are the one that have been begging Rodgers to come to New York. It's been kind of embarrassing, frankly, the groveling as far as I'm concerned. It is the Jets want to get him in the building. They don't have him in there yet. So the Packers can hold on to Rodgers and say, you know what, show up and play or don't, or we're not going to trade you. I think Green Bay has the leverage in this in these trade talks.
I tend to agree with you, even though I think it's weird a little bit. Like I feel like the Jets could have some leverage in the fact that Aaron Rodgers hasn't really come out and said that he's going to come back and play. So sure, you're going to eat up some of that money anyways.
Jets, yeah.
But if you're the Packers, if you're the Jets, you know he's not going to get traded anywhere else unless they know something that we don't here. But it feels to me like the Jets have some of that leverage, not as much as maybe it may seem.
The issue for the Jets is they have no plan B. And they've publicly said, we have no plan B.
Well, yeah.
Like, so what are we doing?
That's just bad management. That's just bad.
They don't want to alienate Rodgers.
Okay.
In the end, I guess Rodgers has. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying why they're doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say okay, except you don't have him yet. So like,
Rodgers is somehow playing for two teams and no teams at the same time. It's really weird.
What are you alienating, really?
It's a bit of a weird conversation there. So another super chat from Rashard Lee, $2. Thank you, Rashard. He says Packers because the Jets don't have him yet. My mindset: the Jets are the person who wants the thing. They're the only team in the mix, but Green Bay can just be like, we'll wait. If it gets to August, then the Jets start to have the leverage, but then you're trading for a QB who hasn't been in your building yet. So I think the pressure's on the Jets from that standpoint. The quarterback market will begin to continue to skyrocket because that's how it works. The cap has jumped up significantly, and quite simply, what was $40 million a couple years ago is now $50 million in terms of the average cost relative to the salary cap. So these guys are probably going to get $50 million, especially the last one to sign, of the next big four, quote-unquote, contracts, guys that are all due for their first new contract. Who's the first to get paid? And in theory, The first one to get paid will be the cheapest. Maybe someone like if it's Hurts' last, maybe he's not quite the highest paid, but I don't think he'd be that far behind. 10 for Herbert, 9 for Burrow, 8 for Lamar Jackson, or 1 for Jalen Hurts. Who will be the first guy to get paid? I see 1s from Cameron and Chulor, 9 from Daniel Moriarty, Donald Hampton, Rashard Lee. John R. says 8. Interesting that there are no 10s right now for Justin Herbert because the Chargers have publicly said they've started contract negotiations there. 1 from Richard and 12 from Arturo Gomez, who, I don't know who's 12, Rodgers? I don't know.
I've got an even trickier question for you here, Tom. Of these 4 guys, money notwithstanding, who would be the one guy that you would build around?
Burrow.
It'd be Burrow?
Burrow's best quarterback on this list.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I feel like some people will still lean Herbert over Burrow, or maybe even Lamar over Burrow, but he's just accomplished.
I mean, I get it. I will say this is a good example of the different thresholds we have and different standards we apply. Justin Herbert, is as great as I think he is, I think he's a top 5 quarterback, hasn't actually done anything yet. He blew a massive playoff lead. His team did.
He's the one person in this group who hasn't done anything, really.
Honestly,
Lamar's at least made the playoffs.
Lamar's
he was bad.
Lamar has an MVP as well.
He has an MVP.
Lamar has been bad in the playoffs, so it's just a different standards are sometimes unequally applied, even if the supporting casts are different there. Super chat from Rashard Lee. Do you like number 0? Thank you again for the super chat, Rashard. You're on fire at this point. I'm fine with it. I don't think it's an awesome number. Like, I was much more on board with the skill guys and defensive players getting to wear the low numbers. I think that looks cooler. I think 0 looks a little bit lame, frankly, unless you're a really small person or a big person. Like, I'm going in those directions there.
So I like the number 0.
Like a gadget receiver, 0. It's a shame defensive lineman cannot wear 0 because I want to see Vita Vea rocking 0 out there. How awesome would that look?
I'm trying to think back now at that player at Baylor who was just massive. Didn't he
Sean Oakman?
Yes.
He sucked at football.
Oh,
he actually wasn't that good.
Number 2.
He actually was not that good.
He was number 2. But I thought
he was huge, but he was stiff as a board.
Yeah.
Couldn't bend.
I like the number 0. I'm not going to make the joke about Calvin Ridley's jersey number being the same as his gambling winnings. I'm just saying the joke is there to be made.
Bet on the Falcons.
If someone else wants to make the joke, go for it. I won't. Mm-hmm. But Calvin Ridley, his jersey number is the same as his gambling winnings.
There you go. So, all right. Thank you, Rashard Lee. How many rounds of the NFL draft will you watch? Sound off for me in the comments section. We'll be here for all 7, of course. Did he win? I'm pretty sure Calvin Ridley lost his bet.
No, yeah, that bet lost. Ironically enough, it was the Falcons that busted it.
Yeah, it was the Falcons who busted it.
Yeah,
he had parlay and everything else except that.
Yep. Man, I want to let the record show that my gambling winnings are not 0.
They're negative.
Irrelevant.
You're down this year. I know you're down
Irrelevant.
this year. I know you're down this year.
Irrelevant statement. No comment.
A bunch of 7s in there. 3, 5, at least 5. Hey, we'll be here for all 7 rounds. We got our own NFL draft channel as well, youtube.com/chatNFL. Make sure you guys are subscribed here and over there. We'll have the best NFL draft coverage for you. The Ryan File says 0 should be for punters. I say kickers because they're not people.
I saw that the kickers and punters now can have a bigger range of numbers as well, so maybe they are people.
Give them the ugly numbers. Like, there's nothing worse than wasting a fun single-digit number on your kicker.
What do you want to give them?
That's just a joke. Give him
something in the 40s.
Give him 19. Give 19's an ugly.
19's not a terrible number.
Give him the ugly teen numbers. Save the good numbers for the skill guys, and give them the 40s.
I'm saying every single kicker or punter in the NFL should wear the number 43.
Sure,
awful
number.
That feels like 48's pretty ugly too.
Maybe that's your long snapper's number, so that's fine. But if you're a punter and you're wearing number 5. You're just taking away from a better player. You're hurting your own team by taking one of the better numbers out there. All right, if you guys love the NFL draft like we do here at Chat Sports, make sure you like today's video. We've only got 22 likes so far. That is a profoundly disappointing number. Get that changed for us. Like the video right now. What's up, Sam?
What number are we shooting for today, Tom?
I think at least 50. Otherwise, what's the point?
Not another number.
Yeah, that's not a great.
Maybe add 19 more to that.
I mean, I think we can start with 50 because there's only 115 watching, so we'll keep it somewhat realistic there.
Tom wants you to get to 69 likes.
I didn't say anything.
Screenshot it.
This is just thrust upon me now. This meme, even when I'm not going for it, it's thrust upon me.
Well, you kind of did it for yourself there.
I mean, a little bit,
are you
sure.
Are you complaining, really? I don't think so.
I mean, no, but it's funnier if I do. So like the video if you guys love the NFL Draft. Here is what's coming up on today's live show. NFL news and rumors, a mailbag. Get your questions in using hashtag NFL or by super chatting like Rashard Lee did earlier. We will also run through some NFL trade candidates, not just the Lamars and Rodgerses, but some names, big names on there. And I'll try to keep it short so it's not a 35-minute cut. We will run through ESPN's 7-round NFL mock draft. We'll break it down team by team, point out the mistake that ESPN made as well. All coming up live here on NFL Daily. Hello, friends. Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. The latest NFL rumors coming at you guys on today's show. And we will once again keep you updated on all the latest Lamar Jackson. It's a saga at this point. His public push has now begun, which probably should have happened a while ago, in terms of what he wants this offseason, money, what the injury status is, what he's asking for isn't still quite, revealed, which is kind of interesting. So far, no NFL team has stepped up to show even a little bit of interest. There's been the occasional report of they haven't ruled it out, which is kind of crazy because it's an NFL MVP who's 25 years old. We're allowing people to mock a 25-year-old rookie in the top 5, and yet 25-year-old Lamar Jackson, I don't know about that one. Is that a route we really want to go? It's weird, it's unusual, and it really doesn't make the most sense, quite frankly. Now, sorry, 26 for Lamar, I misspoke. But sets and bet is 26, so it still works. We did break down the top 10 trade destinations for Lamar Jackson earlier this week. Check out the video if you have not already. I will make sure it's linked in the comment section and the description of today's video. But when you're subbed, your notifications are on. You don't miss any of our videos here at Chat Sports, youtube.com/chatsportstv. I did want to break down some of the apparent issues NFL teams have with Lamar / the why doesn't he have any interest. No agent, I do think, negatively impacts him. It does make the player's life easier to get paid and have a good feel for what the market actually looks like. He does want a lot of guaranteed money, and I think NFL teams don't want to give out massive, fully guaranteed deals like Deshaun Watson did. The other owners were pissed at the Browns for doing so. Now, I think that borders on collusion, but you can make the argument, well, every NFL team independently agreed to not do that. But I think that's where we're at for Lamar. The cost of a trade is somewhat expensive, but if you're drafting late first, who cares? He has missed time. Injury history is a potential red flag, the long-term health of being that mobile quarterback. I've also seen, again, the Deshaun Watson one, he missed an entire year with a torn ACL. He actually gets hit plenty. That wasn't a concern. Different standards for different quarterbacks somehow. And teams have claimed, or leaked, I should say, well, we want to see what guys like Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder can do. Unserious claims. It's just, if teams were solely committed on winning the next 5 years, there'd be a lot more interest in Lamar Jackson. And there isn't. I think the money is a big factor. Why? I know he's missed time with injuries. The numbers have dipped a little bit the past 2 years, but I really challenge you guys to put together a top 10 quarterback list that doesn't feature Lamar Jackson. Kyler Murray has done nothing in the NFL and got $46 million. Daniel Jones got 40, his best year is still worse than Lamar's worst year. I get Lamar's missed time the past 2 games, or 2 seasons. Thank you, Sam. But we've seen other quarterbacks miss time and get paid, so it's not an equal application at all. I don't know what ends up happening. you guys make the prediction for me. Will Lamar Jackson be traded? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment of today's video. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage. Head down there and go vote. Let's talk Aaron Rodgers here. The Jets and Packers are allegedly are not that far apart in trade conversations. In theory, it would make sense that both sides should want a deal done before the NFL draft. That the Packers get the pick now, the Jets get Rodgers in the building before the offseason really, or the preseason really gets going there. The only real deadline for Rodgers' $50+ million option bonus is before week 1. Has to be paid out the day before week 1. That's your firm deadline. Now, Yahoo Sports and The Athletic have put alleged trade parameters out. The difference is Corey Davis was in The Athletic's one, but that could also still make some sense. 2 seconds to Green Bay, plus maybe Corey Davis, and a conditional 2024. That pick in 2024 is conditional. Could be a first if the Jets have great playoff success. The Jets allegedly want a 2025 pick back in case Aaron Rodgers doesn't play in 2024, which is kind of crazy. They are so committed to a guy who they fear might play 1 year and yet have shown zero interest in the aforementioned Lamar. That's just it's weird to me, man. Of the two teams, who do you think has the leverage? I'll break down my thoughts here momentarily. J for the Jets, P for the Packers. Who wins the leverage battle in the Aaron Rodgers trade conversation? I think it's the Packers. The Jets have made it way too clear from their own public statements, it's Rodgers or bust for them. There is no plan B. Their plan B right now is Zach Wilson or Matt Ryan or Carson Wentz. Like, there's no plan B for the Jets. If they don't get Rodgers, that regime's getting fired. The Packers can wait if they want to, up until a certain point. It would be before week 1 at some point because they don't want to pay him $50 million to not be around. That'd be bad for them. But the Jets still want him in the building. I think in terms of the caving, Joe Douglas will play hardball. I'll give him credit for that. I don't know how long owner Woody Johnson will be able to maintain. Also, still objectively funny to me that Aaron Rodgers is going to go play for the Johnson & Johnson team. That's really funny to me. Rodgers is still one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, despite objectively a down year. He wasn't as good last season. And given his age, it is fair to wonder how much he really has left in the tank. But the Jets and Nathaniel Hackett, seems like the Hackett hiring worked, unlike it didn't work in Denver. They get Rodgers, they should be a playoff team. Now, the NFL draft hats for 2023 are out, so get yours today. All 32 teams, whoever you love the most, they have the draft hats available. Chatsports.com/NFL draft hats. Some years these have been not that great. They've been off. I don't mind the stone color. I think for some teams it looks better than others. I think it actually looks pretty good for the Denver, maybe a little bit less so on the Falcons side. But they've got the flat brim and the rounded brim. Get your hats today so you can rep the same hat that your favorite team's draft pick will be wearing come draft night / draft weekend. Chatsports.com/NFL draft hats. Odell Beckham. Again, it's NFL rumors saga today, I guess is what we're calling it. It's all been long, drawn-out things here. Beckham showed up at NFL owners' meetings as his free agency. I might put tour in quotes at this point here. He met with / was linked to, like from the owners' public statements, the Ravens, Jets, and Giants. And we mentioned the Corey Davis trade potentially for New York. Would make a lot more sense if they also acquire Odell Beckham since he's on Aaron Rodgers' alleged wish list, but also he never submitted it, but did talk players with the Jets. So, truth lies somewhere in the middle, I guess. I think OBJ's asking price has been too high. I allegedly wanted 15 to 20 million. The wide receiver market did not go above $11 million. And for a guy who's played 21 games the past 3 years in the regular season, you ain't getting $11 million fully guaranteed, my friend. I think you got to cut that down. And what he should want to do is sign a 1-year prove-it deal, cash in again next year. But I also know that he's kind of did that in the past, so he might be looking for more long-term security. He can still have a team. But I think that team is going to want some potential outs in the contract. So in the end, who will sign Odell Beckham? I will go with the Jets as they hoard all of the wide receivers. Let's hear your answers for me in the comments section. DeAndre Hopkins remains out there in the trade market. The report from Albert Breer is that Arizona's given Hopkins permission to find a trade partner. From what I understand, that's not new. That's been the case for a while now. Might not actually mean that much. Some conflicting reports as well in terms of what the Cardinals have been asking for in terms of the value. Is it a second? Is it a sixth? Is it somewhere in the middle? Like, they want the second. Teams have been offering more of the Brandon Cooks deal, allegedly. There's been a lot of confusion on that standpoint there. Age and contract do appear to be the main concerns on that front there, because he's missed time the past 2 years. He's not the same player that he once was. That is a red flag for teams, but he's also still, like, if you do the 16-game sample size, still better than a lot of the receivers out there. So for whatever reason, and you see this time and time again, NFL teams think they're ahead of the curve, and they often are, of a declining player. The interest in Hopkins seems low. I don't think they're going to get the second and change I thought that they once would. This might be a third or a fourth round pick, maybe during draft night potentially. At some point, he's going to get dealt, and I think the team that gets him, we're all going to be very, very excited about there. So sound off for me here in the comments section. Prediction time once again. Who will end up trading for DeAndre Hopkins? Get those answers in, and we'll spend some more time on a future video with some top destinations for DeAndre Hopkins. Finally, the potential Justin Herbert extension. The Chargers having contract talks with Herbert. He could command $50 million or more. The quarterback market and the salary cap continue to go up. That is how the market works. The salary cap has jumped significantly every single year. What was $40 million 3-4 years ago is now $50 million or more. And with other big quarterbacks set to get paid, with Herbert being the Chargers franchise guy, you just want to lock him up, do a long-term deal, keep pushing money off into the future until you're bad and he's old, and then you rebuild. I fully expect Herbert to surpass the Russell Wilson contract, which is $49 million per year. And then I think at that point, other quarterbacks will surpass him. You'll have Josh Allen due for a new deal not that far from now. Dak Prescott even more quickly than that. That's how the market works. Because if you don't have one of those top 10 quarterbacks, ask the Jets how it's going. Who will be the first to get paid in the end? 10 for Justin Herbert, 9 for Joe Burrow, 8 for Lamar Jackson, 1 for Jalen Hurts. Get those votes in for me in the comment section. We'll give some shout-outs here as well. 10 for Herbert, 9 for Burrow, 8 for Lamar, 1 for Jalen Hurts. What do you think, Sam, here?
I mean, I think it winds up being either Herbert or Burrow. I think those two guys are in the strongest positions within their organizations. Yeah, Jalen Hurts was obviously great last year. Even then, there were still some weird little rumors that came out throughout the season that they weren't that confident in him going into the year. So I think he might be, I may just be, not. I may just be taking the wrong details in the context. Yes, I was going to ask you about that. But in the end, I think it winds up being Justin Herbert. Their team has been the most open and outspoken about wanting to extend him, but all four guys are going to wind up getting a fat deal. Lamar's just might not come this offseason.
The Lamar saga is weird. I don't have a great understanding of it at this point. I'm just more and more confused every day. I don't know. The next thing we're kind of at the point here of you tell me something weird happens about Lamar Jackson, I'll probably believe you. Like, that's kind of where we're at this stage for him.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll go ahead and get some shout-outs too in the chat here. So if y'all want to keep getting your votes in, keep getting a shout-out. I see Elkanon Gorodetsky saying Joe. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Daniel Herrera's in there saying 10 for Justin Herbert. Melvin Morgan and Black Miji saying 9 for Joe Burrow. John R. saying 8 for Lamar Jackson. Darren Walker, 4 for Dak Prescott. Good joke.
You know, it's not the most outlandish one. I don't trust the Cowboys to actually get it done. But fun fact, the Cowboys actually have to spend about $55 million between like the next couple of months to hit the minimum threshold spending. Or before next March, for next free agency. So like they have to do a big deal, otherwise they get in trouble.
So they might not be done making splashes, is what you're saying.
They have to do something else big money wise. Now that's probably going to be an internal offseason move, but they have to do something.
Who else is in there? Franklin Group says 8 for Lamar. We've got Clayton Lockhart says 10. Joe Burrow, Dizzy Trooper going with Joe Burrow. Sorry, Clayton said 10 for Justin Herbert, obviously. Doug says 1 for Jalen Hurts. Trucker Mike says 1 for Jalen. MB Sports saying 1 for Jalen. And by the way, that's Oklahoma legend, Jalen Hurts. Not Alabama legend.
That's what I get there, I suppose. So keep the comments coming. 10, 9, 8, 1. It'd be fun if Hurts was number 7. Wouldn't that just be nice and easy from that standpoint?
Yeah,
but
if only life were that simple.
It looks pretty good on 1, though, it does. So get the comments coming. 10, 9, 8, or 1. I really want to say 7. I almost made the same mistake there again on that front. Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. We're kind of in between free agency, the NFL draft, which is the perfect time to break down some of the top NFL trade candidates, some of the more notable names potentially out there on the open market. We'll start with the most obvious one, and thus won't spend that much time on it. Aaron Rodgers. It's a matter of, I think, when, not if, Aaron Rodgers ends up becoming a Jet. The trade, maybe it's a couple seconds, some conditional picks mixed in there since the Jets seem to be worried about how long Rodgers will play. New York has also no backup plan, which is a choice, I suppose. They're kind of committed to Rodgers at this point, so we'll wait and see what happens. But I think by round 2 of the draft, my prediction, it's Rodgers, so it's always a bold prediction, I guess. He'll be a member of the New York Football Jets. Let's go to another very common trade rumor name out there, DeAndre Hopkins. He's been on the market for a while now. We've known since long after the year ended that Hopkins could be traded by Arizona. The Cardinals don't appear to be getting very good offers at this stage. I think part of it is the age and the contract and the dip in play because he's missed time the past couple of years. 9 games, 10 games in 2022, 2021. The PED suspension was there. He's not the same guy he was at his absolute peak. I still think Houston moved on from him probably a good 2 or 3 years early. But Arizona appears to be rebuilding, or at least retooling. We'll see when Kyler returns. It might not be week 1 coming off that knee injury. So Hopkins' trade seems also mostly inevitable. But there's been conflicting reports on who's interested. The Chiefs and Bills, because imagine Hopkins with Mahomes and Josh Allen, have been heavily linked. Some sources say they're involved. Others say they're not. So you've got the conflicting reports there. The Ravens are a logical fit because it's Rashad Bateman and Devin Duvernay. Doesn't really strike fear. What a great way Mark Andrews is a tight end, but they signed, the big signing was Nelson Aguilar. They still don't have another quality receiver. Adding Hopkins would, I think, help Lamar be happy. I assume. The Patriots have been very heavily linked, but they also signed Juju Smith-Schuster. Falcons, Giants, others have been more speculatively linked, but the offers have not come in. Cardinals allegedly wanted a 2. They might not get anything more than a 3 or a 4 at this point. So today's pinned comment is this question. Name a player who you think ends up getting traded. Sound off for me at the pinned comment, especially if the ad break comes here on YouTube. Ignore it. Go drop that player name at the pinned comment. How about Austin Eckler? A lot of guys who have requested trades that we will include on here. He requested a trade so he can get paid, get the bag. The running back market is bad, though, for a soon-to-be 28-year-old, or age 28 season, I should say, back. Chargers don't want to pay him big money. No one else has shown that much interest at this stage. He's a good football player. Don't get me wrong. He'll give you about 900 yards on the ground and 600, 700 through the air. He's a PPR machine. He had 107 catches last year. This guy's like a slot receiver. That's valuable. but he's a running back. And NFL teams just don't like running backs these days. We've seen that time and time again with where things currently sit. So that's a pretty significant red flag. Some teams that could make some sense, the Bills, because they love running backs and spending assets on them. He'd be great in Philadelphia, man. Miami, he'd be a fun fit. The Bengals, if they would want to move on from Joe Mixon, could make some sense. I wouldn't rule out the Commanders for a back in general because I'm not sure they're sold on Antonio Gibson. Similar teams could also have interest in Dalvin Cook. There have been rumors of the Vikings shopping Cook. He was a prime cut candidate. That has not materialized at this point. He's owed about $11 million this year. And the concern is that, you know, you can just spot regression and not being as good anymore. How about Dalvin Cook's last 3 years? Got worse by about 0.3/0.4 yards per carry. If that trend continues, it's 4.1 next year. That's not great. He had 14 more yards last year on more carries in 4 more games. That's not what you want. Barely more yards in more games, more carries. The decline has begun to set in a little bit on that front. So pick a running back. DC for Dalvin Cook. AE for Austin Eckler. Which back would you rather have on your roster? Assume the contracts end up looking somewhat similar since, in theory, you'd have to pay Eckler as well. Sound off in the comments. DC or AE? The 2023 version of the official NFL draft hats are out, so get yours today for your favorite NFL team. All 32 teams are represented, so go get yours. chatsports.com/NFL draft hats. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's video. It's all similar style. It's got the city text, or I guess state text up top. In small font, then the logo and the team colors with the nicknames on there. I think they look better than some of the previous editions. chatsports.com/NFL draft hats. Links in the comment section and the description of today's video. Ed Oliver is one of my favorite sneaky NFL trade candidates. He, simply put, has not lived up to expectations. He has not been the guy that I know Buffalo, thought he was going to be. Look at his production. 5 sacks, 3 sacks, 4 sacks, 2.5 sacks. That's not really getting the job done in the way you would like it to get done. And at $10.75 million, I could see Buffalo being willing to move on and see if they can maybe go get a different defensive tackle in the draft and ship him out somewhere else. Some teams that could make some sense. How about the Bengals? They are in the market for a 3 technique potentially. The Bears desperately need one. I love that fit because they got to spend some money too. The Cowboys, and they did re-sign Jonathan Hankins, but they want that 3 technique guy. The Lions that'd just be fun for me up front. Dark horse, the Saints, since money is never a problem for them. Similar teams could also have interest in a more expensive player, but a much better one, in Jeffrey Simmons, who is looking for a massive contract extension. He's going to want somewhere between Deron Payne and Aaron Donald money, and it might be a little bit closer to the Aaron Donald money than it is the Deron Payne money. I don't know if the Titans will pay him. I would, because he's awesome. This is one of the best defensive players in the NFL at the defensive tackle spot. The numbers don't even do justice to how dynamic he is up front. Pass rusher, run stopper. If you're creating the top 5-ish list of like defensive tackles, I'm putting Simmons on there. So I'm a big fan of what he brings. And if he does start to be moved, I think there'd be some real interest. All right, so get NFL daily videos every single day right here at Chat Sports. It's free. It always will be. Multiple videos each and every single day. Hit that sub button. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Don't forget about Allen Robinson. Remember, at the beginning of the offseason, he got trade permission, or at least permission to go seek a trade, and the Rams would love to offload his contract, and nobody had interest because he has been bad for 2 years now. He's missed time, 12 games, 10 games. He was once quarterback proof. Didn't matter who his QB was. He was going to give you 1,000 yards. Now, he played 22 games the past 2 years. and didn't even get to 800 yards. He is not the same guy that he once was. That contract for the Rams was a significant, significant mistake. So be honest with me. No lying, because I kind of did for at least a little bit there. Did you forget that Allen Robinson got trade permission from the Rams? Because if you did, I get it. Be honest with me. Y for yes, N for no. We're going to cheat on our top 10 list and put 2 Broncos wide receivers here. Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Both have been linked in trade rumors. Jeudy is the aspirants have been allegedly a first-round pick. He's due for a new deal at some point soon. Courtland Sutton, meanwhile, might not be as expensive, maybe a second-round pick, but he's got a bigger contract. Jeudy was on the trade block at last year's NFL trade deadline. The whispers were they wanted a second and then some more after the crazy change of the Chase Claypool trade that messed everything up. Now they want a first, and I don't think they're going to get that, which means he's probably 6th round. Sutton, though, could make some more sense. Hasn't been the same guy the past 3 years. But if they want a second, that's probably pushing it a little bit as well. But Denver was been in the mix for other free agent wide receivers. Of course, didn't get anybody. This one, I think, will remain a topic until, day 3 of the NFL draft if someone gets moved. So more likely to be traded. Who is it among the Broncos wideouts? CS for Courtland Sutton, JJ for Jerry Jeudy. Let's go with one offensive lineman, center Ryan Kelly. At one point, one of the better centers in the entire NFL, has seen his play dip a little bit. The Colts are open to trading him. I know the report was of the Colts have had teams call about Ryan Kelly. It means they want to trade him because he's set to make $10.13 million. He's gone through some really unfortunate stuff in his personal life that is really unfair and unfortunate for him and his family. But he has not been the same guy. Like, he was supposed to be this great elite center. 5 sacks is a lot for a center. I hope he gets things back on track, but that's kind of some concern from that standpoint. Finally, of course, it's Lamar Jackson. You knew he was going to be on here, right? He's requested a trade, and no one has even shown interest yet, which doesn't really make any sense from that standpoint. So I don't know what's going to happen with Lamar. He should get paid by somebody. He's too good not to be. Yet here we are in late March, early April, and we have to wait and see what the status is at that for Lamar Jackson moving forward. All right, shout out your favorite team for me in the comments section. I will give some shout outs here. Billy says he should sit out. He should not sit out. If you're Lamar, do not sit out. It's never worked. Didn't work for Lev Bell. Do not sit out. I see Texans, Bills, Cowboys, Patriots, Bills, Jets, Detroit, Bears, Packers, Lions, Cowboys, Jets, Giants is in there. 49ers, Jets again, Miami, Giants again, Colts, Panthers, Saints, Cowboys, Giants, Cowboys, Bucks is in there from Matt Productions, Bears as well. Giants, Bucks, Saints, Stroud-led Panthers. Why, Big Jordan? I think you might get your wish there in the end. I know it's not going to be Will Levis. That would blow me away. So I know you're in better shape about that one there. Seahawks, Commanders, Ravens, lonely as usual. They're always quiet during free agency. Good news is they should crush the draft as they often do. Bears, Houston, Denver, Chiefs, Raiders in there from Juan Hernandez. Giants. Why Big Jordan's happy. Raiders again. Raiders. Keep the comments coming. Your favorite NFL team. Let me sip some Gatorade here. Giants, Cowboys. We need the asterisks. Cowboys, Lions, Falcons, Bears. Cowboys again. Bills, Panther Nation is in there. Bears, Bengals, Giants, Ravens, Niners, Bears again. Let's go to the leverage weigh in here. Give you some more time. Mix it up. Bears, Raiders, Oilers. Not often we see one of those in there. That's fun. I appreciate that. Niners, Bears. All right, who has the leverage? This is the pinned comments. Not the pinned comment, the pinned poll on today's video. Very narrow here. Who has the Aaron Rodgers trade leverage? Jets or Packers? 51% going with Green Bay, 49% going with the Jets. I think it's the Packers. I'll give some shout-outs here in a minute. I think it's the Packers because the Jets have no plan B. Their owner is publicly anxious about the whole thing. I know no one else has interest in Rodgers, but Green Bay does not have to trade him at the moment. That does not come until closer to week 1. I'm sure they would want to have the second-round pick this year, but the Jets also want him in the building for offseason stuff. So I think it's the Packers. And if the Jets had a viable plan B, I think that could make some more sense at this point. They do not, which is concerning from that standpoint. So get your votes in. J for the Jets, P for the Packers. Then we're going to break down some breaking news here on NFL Daily / Cowboys Report. Breaking news here on the Cowboys Report. The Yacht Boys continue to cook. Jonathan Hankins has re-signed with the Dallas Cowboys. The team pushed hard to keep him in the building. Hankins is returning on a 1-year deal. It is a very cheap contract for the Cowboys. $1.5 million for the run-stopping defensive tackle. Jordan Schultz was the first one to break that news. A 1-year deal. Michael Gelkin has the contract details, worth about $1.5 million for a player that does not put up big-time significant stats at all, but he is a key run-stopping defensive tackle, the nose guard, that did play a very big role for the Cowboys down the stretch last year with their run defense. The Cowboys, their internal top targets, their top things they wanted to still acquire, Hankins was the top guy on that list left. He was the guy they really wanted to make sure they could find a way to keep because the Cowboys have finally adopted my fatties only mantra without taking it too seriously in signing Dontari Poe, who was too fat and took it too seriously, and that's why he got cut in the end. Hankins listed at $320. He was a mid-season acquisition, a trade via the Las Vegas Raiders. It was a 6th-round pick, I believe, or something along those lines. It got sent to Hankins. Did not put up any big stats. 20 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 TFL. It's not his job. It's not why he's not getting paid, $5 million, getting paid $1.5 in the end. A run-stopping defensive tackle solidifies one of the top remaining short-term needs for the Dallas Cowboys, helping themselves get into the spot they want to be. BPA as much as possible. That's best player available at a potential position of need, which eliminates a few spots in a few different rounds potentially in this upcoming NFL draft. So grade the signing for me. A, B, C, D, or F. It's cheap. It's 1 year. It's team friendly. It fills a need. I'm not going to give it anything worse than a B on that front, but I do want to hear from you guys in the comments section. So grade the signing for me. A, B, C, D, or F. I will make this the pinned comments on today's video. So if the ad break happens to come here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. A, B, C, D, or F. This is where the depth chart currently sits for the Dallas Cowboys along the defensive line. I still think this is an area of concern for Dallas entering this upcoming NFL draft. Osa Odigizua is more of a 3 technique, that pass rushing defensive tackle mold. I think Neville Gallimore better fits that style too. Not listed is Chauncey Golston, who I do think will play plenty of defensive tackle this year. Carlos Watkins is a potential priority for them still, a player they have expressed some reinterest in potentially signing. I think that's something they want to do because he'll be a cheap 1-year deal as well. Neville Gallimore has been a disappointment, frankly. Quinton Bohanna has been a disappointment. If you didn't have Hankins, you didn't really have a reliable nose guard on this roster because, let's be honest, we're not going to count on Isaac Alarcon to play big snaps at any point soon for the Cowboys, just made the move to D-line after beginning his career as part of the International Player Pathway as an offensive lineman. So keeping Hankins is significant for this Cowboys team. It is the type of move that is classic Cowboys in the offseason. They like their guys. They like cheap contracts. I think Hankins had kind of dragged his feet a little bit about potentially re-signing. In the end, finds a deal that works out pretty well for the Dallas Cowboys. What also works out pretty well is Athletic Greens. They help make today's show possible. We here at Chat Sports take AG1 every single day because they give you comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I am old now. There's no way around it. I have hit 30. I am not young anymore, and I need to start taking care of my body a little bit better than I did back when I was a reckless young person. That's why I gave AG1 a try. Better gut health supplement that actually tastes great. Going to help me short term. I feel energized throughout the day. I don't need caffeine in the morning anymore. Empowers the gut for whole body health, and I know will pay longer term dividends when I continue to get older and older and older, and my hairline's already begun to recede enough with my widow's peak. Like, I hope an Athletic Greens helps the rest of my body feel better long-term and short-term, because covering the nutritional base for the day literally couldn't be any easier. One small scoop of AG1 with water or apple juice, and I'm done just like that. I like that it costs less than $3 a day. It's a pretty darn good deal if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's the old win-win. So if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplements, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. It's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Links in the comments section and the description of today's video. Yet another signing made by Dallas. Hankins is back. I'll call it the pride and joy, the most successful fatties only in Cowboys history. No one else has worked out because they don't try ever, but then they actually tried with Hankins, and it worked out great. And unlike Dontari Poe, he did not take it too literally. I'm very glad Hankins is back as a member of the Cowboys. The organization pushed him very hard to get him to play. He might only have 1, 2, maybe 3 years left at most if they're pushing it. He had kind of dragged his feet on the signing a little bit. Now he's back in Dallas. He will continue to play that one technique role. I will make note, but people have linked, guys like Mozzie Smith, Brian Brzee, other defensive linemen to this Cowboys team. I do not think the re-signing of Hankins eliminates any potential draft picks for this Dallas Cowboys team. I don't think it takes them out of the running for anything. It means they don't have to take a defensive tackle early, but if they fall in love with someone, whether it's at the 3 technique spot or that 1 technique, the 3 technique is that more disruptive pressure guy, the pass rusher DT. The 1 tech is your run stopper, who's kind of more of a 2-down player in most cases. It does not preclude them from drafting somebody. Now, I still think offensive guard, if the reports Cowboys allegedly looking at Terrence Steele as a right tackle and Tyron Smith there too, and not putting Tyler Smith at guard, I still think guard is their next big area of concern, that they might just go into the draft with a need there in a poor guard class. I wouldn't mind looking at a guard to sign. It's not a great group. That's how NFL free agency always works. But the addition of Hankins means they don't have to take a defensive tackle early. They still can if the right guy is there for them. The Yacht Boys have been cooking. They actually did things in free agency. So who should the Cowboys sign next? Sound off for me in the comments section. And remember, when news happens, we have you covered here at the Cowboys Report. So make sure you guys are subscribed. YouTube.com/Cowboys TV. Free videos every single day, multiple times per day on that channel. All right, non-Cowboy stuff moving forward, I promise you that. How many rounds of the NFL draft will you guys watch? It's all 7 for me, because that's how it works. I'm live for all 7. I will try I will try not to be as sloppy drunk as I was at the end of last year's. I felt fine.
That's what we love.
I felt I felt great.
I'm not gonna lie,
then I got in. Then I listened to the draft grades, and I'm like, oh no, I'm hammered.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest.
I felt great.
From my perspective, on day 3, when we've been going at it for 30+ hours the 2 prior days, we're so tired. You don't know half the guys getting drafted. You guys are tired.
I'm freaking wired.
But I live for to get you drunk, to get you to go to the bathroom, to get you to go have to pee and leave the studio.
I think the rules this year will be it's just beer cheers if I don't know the guy. Because we went to shots last year, and that was a mistake because there were a lot of guys.
Yeah, we jumped it up a notch.
So, and I'm not going to get to as many guys this year because I have a kid now, so it's just not going to happen.
Beer sips every time?
So beer cheers, and if they're not in the database, it's a shot. / I might make producer Brett do it last year because he didn't do it. Because
the database was pretty...
The guy the database is stacked. It's got guys I don't get to, I haven't heard of really, but the database, if the database gets beaten, it is impressive.
That's how you know a team reached. It doesn't matter if it's round 6 or 7. Maybe a little bit more, round 5 and up, but...
The database is the most complete database that you will find.
Oh, yeah. ESPN's got to dig around for some of these guys.
It's stump the truck. You will not get stumped there. Now, you can stump us by picking a player who's not actually in the draft. Like that, Mac player who didn't actually go to his pro day. That's how you stump.
That's just not fun. Who actually does that?
Richard Lee says all 7 while Tom gets hammered. I'm going to try to be a little bit less crazy this year.
And I'm going to try...
On day 3.
I'm going to try and get Tom a little more crazy this year.
If you say so. If you guys do like the NFL draft, you can always like the video. And it's mailbag time here. So use hashtag NFL or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. Richard Lee has been easily our Super Chat MVP. Thank you, Richard. If you guys have questions, Super Chat guarantees that it gets on air. Hashtag NFL means you're in the queue, and you are banking on producer
You mean the
Sam.
Quay?
It's Q.
You mean the Quay?
The Quano?
The Quay? Quavo.
Sam. Hashtag NFL gets you in the queue. Otherwise, you're at the mercy if you do not Super Chat. So it's mailbag time here on Chat Sports. Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey, and we have a mailbag for you from our Wednesday live show with the NFL Draft just around the corner, answering all your questions as they come in here as part of our live show. We're going to begin with Richard Lococo. Is that how you pronounce it, Richard? It's Iacocca. That makes more sense. I thought it was all lowercase, but uppercase is more logical there. What backs do you want to see the Bears draft? Chase Brown, Tajay Spears, Devon Achane. I'm going to have them ranked Achane, Spears, Brown. But this running back class in general is loaded. It stretches from not just round 1 to round 3. I think round 1 to round 5, you will take a back you think you can plug in and make your RB2. Now, I like Khalil Herbert a lot. You have Deonta Foreman. You don't need to draft a back early, but the value of the class means, you probably should. True Allure. Do you like when the NFL is going to flex games on Thursday night? So I like it from a product perspective. I don't want to watch the Broncos and Colts be bad again. I think that was Thursday night game. That will make for better audience, better engagement. But flexing a Thursday night game is not good for players' bodies. What I really think you should do, I think you have to add another bye week. Because you're asking guys to go play Sunday, then go turn around and play Thursday. It's going to lead to more injuries. So I do worry about that, and that would nail impact the product long-term too. So I'm fine. Add a bye week. From Cameron, do you think the Bills will draft a linebacker in the first round this year? I could see it. I think if they are in love with a Drew Sanders, a Trenton Simpson, a Henley, or even a Jack Campbell, sure. I don't love this linebacker class. Maybe one stretches to the second round for them. But Tremaine Edmonds is gone, so linebacker is an area of concern for Buffalo. From Hasbulla 2024, how good, make it happen, Sam says in my ear. How good is Hendon Hooker? And first off, he's not eligible. How good is Hendon Hooker actually? So I like Hendon Hooker. You can go back to some of our 2021 pre-NFL draft coverage. So after his first year at Tennessee, before he declared, I was like, we should be talking more about Hendon Hooker. And he had a great year at Tennessee. And there are things to like about his game. He immense success downfield. He's a dual threat. He does check off a lot of the boxes. And if you think he's worth that fifth-year option at the end of the first round, okay, I can understand where it comes from. Geno Smith is my comp from. That's a pretty valuable player there. But this top 5, top 10 buzz is absurd to me. And I feel bad because it's like I'm hating on the player. I'm not. I like him, but not at that level, 25-year-old QB coming off torn ACL and what was a Mickey Mouse offense at Tennessee that was half-field reads and constant go balls and never attacked the middle of the field. He needs a redshirt year, not because of the injury, because he hasn't played in a real NFL offense before. So I like Hendon Hooker. I think he's going to be a long-time NFL QB, but not top 5, not top 10. And frankly, I have a third-round grade. He's my QB5 third-round grade. He's in that Desmond Ridder category for me. That's good, but I don't like him in the first round that much. So will he go? Y for yes and for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video. Vince, why should a team give away 2 firsts in order to pay big money to a quarterback who chose not to play in the playoffs despite he was able to do that? That assumes he was able to. I don't think he was able. I think that knee injury for Lamar, because the Ravens did not really say what it was, it left the door open for people thinking he was good. I don't believe that he was able to play in that playoff game. Now, if he chose not to, it's a different conversation, I suppose. But 2 firsts to pay big money to a quarterback because he's really good, he's a top 10 QB. Like, we're talking about drafting Hendon Hooker who's the same age or a half year younger or whatever. So I think you give it to Lamar because it's really hard to find that top 10 QB. How many of the guys in this year's draft class take him with the number 1 overall? Your hit rate's what, 50%? Yeah, give me the guarantee. Daniel Moriarty, Hopkins to the Cowboys for a 4th and a 5th. I don't think Dallas would do that because I don't think they want to pay him the money involved. I think that's the big issue there and why no one's made that offer yet for Hopkins. RC Plane Builder 2 on his second account, I suppose. Can you imagine D-Hop, Clowney, Eckler, Ngakoue, OBJ, maybe Lamar in Atlanta? It's a scary team bound with the Super Bowl. I tell you what, at minimum, that team wins the NFC South with ease because that division is really not that great there. Now, I actually don't like Clowney all that much because he did quit on his team. They told him to go home because he's complaining about playing time. But Ngakoue, Hopkins, Lamar, with Pitts and London and a solid offensive line, yeah, that'd be fun. Now, the 2023 NFL Draft Hats are available at chatsports.com/NFL Draft Hat. Get yours today. All 32 NFL teams are covered, so don't delay. Go get yours instead. chatsports.com/NFL Draft Hats. That link, by the way, is going to be in the comment section and the description of today's video. All NFL teams, the flat brim and the rounded brim as well. So don't miss out. These are some fantastic draft hats for you. Much better than some of the previous years. Links in the comments in the description of today's video. Michael Ayers, some sleepers in this year's draft. Let me pull up my draft notes here. I'm going to type in sleeper. So some of these guys are a little bit more well-known, but I'm talking like day 3 at best there. I think Dwayne McBride from UAB, small school guy, fits sleeper option there. I think I was going to put Kendrick Miller, probably too good for that tag. I think Carter Warren, the OT from Pittsburgh. You're banking on a 240 snap sample size. He was really good this year for Pitt. Then he got hurt. So I think Carter Warren could make some sense there. One more offensive guy, because I'm mostly done my offensive players so far, of like the day 3 guys. Chandler Zavala was a non-combine invite from NC State. Really good this year. Also, small sample size, bad offensive guard class. He could be your first non-combine invite drafted. Also watch for Carl Brooks of Bowling Green, some inside-outside stuff there. Junior Estrada, she's the defensive lineman for Brooks, by the way. Patriots trade for Devin White. It's a very unpatriot-like move, I think. I think Devin White is a little bit overrated. Good player, really good player, but top linebacker, I don't know about that one there, Jim. So if you want to, it's a splashy move. I'm not going to get mad, but they tend to like a bit thicker linebackers than Devin White. So If you guys have not already, please subscribe. It's the only way to be notified when our live shows start and for you to join our NFL live shows to be a part of the mailbag. Hit that sub button right now. Dan F. Should the Lions trade for Jeffrey Simmons? What draft capital will it cost? I think the DeForest Buckner trade is a good rough benchmark there. Mid-first round pick value. Got to pay him big-time money. I think he's just as good, if not better, than what DeForest Buckner was when the Niners sent him to Indianapolis. If I'm the Lions, hell, I would love Jeffrey Simmons in Detroit. That sounds awesome. Simmons, Hutchinson, Pascal, my guy James Houston. That's a real Lee McNeil too. That is a dynamic front. I think that'd be a fun move for Detroit. So yeah, I'd be down. I don't know if Tennessee's going to do that though. Ryan Utzler, however you pronounce it. I'm sorry, Ryan. Thoughts on the Niners quarterback controversy with John Lynch pointing towards Purdy being the starter? Do we see a potential Trey Lance trade? I don't think so because they don't know when Purdy's going to be back. He might not be ready for week 1. They invested a lot in Trey Lance, and they are thrilled with what they got out of Purdy and not Lance, which is a bit of a red flag there. So I don't think they trade Trey Lance. The ideal outcome is Lance balls out. I still want to risk it all for Trey Lance to an extent. Maybe not all anymore. I keep him. He's cheap. He's affordable. We know there's untapped potential there. Some potential right now. Keep Lance. Keep Purdy, because I love Shanahan. I don't want to see him try to make Sam Darnold work. Ferris Bueller, taking a day off maybe. Should someone take Bijan in the top 10? It is the constant discussion of what is a running back worth. Bijan Robinson is going to be a top 10 player for me in this year's class. He might be top 5 for me. But that's just like how good the player is. It's not about the position, right? Like, Anthony Richardson is not going to be a top 5 or top 10 player for me. But he's going to go that early because the upside of hitting on a quarterback is 35 times X upside of hitting on a running back. A running back has not put a team over the hump since Emmitt Smith. That's the last time it happened. And that's a Hall of Famer. And even current Emmitt, or prime Emmitt in this day and age, probably doesn't. So it's how much of a premium do you want to pay to a guy who the second contracts for running back track record is awful. Been like 2 that have worked. It's just not very good. So top 10, probably not. Back end of round 1, it's a different conversation. In the end, I want you guys to pick this for me. Who will draft Bijan Robinson? Get those predictions in for me in the comment section right now. Darren Walker, O-line question. Who are your starting tackles? Who is the swing out of Tyron, Tyler, or Steele? If you're not playing Tyler Smith at left guard, he is your left tackle, and I'm going to play Terrence Steele at right tackle. He was better than Tyron Smith was. Now, some whispers of some schematic changes, okay, but I feel more comfortable about Tyron at left tackle if it comes to that than I do. I think he wasn't that great at right tackle. He's always injured, so I would make it Tyler and Terrence and let Tyron be my swing tackle. Corey Babcock, with Hankins now back, do you believe Dow will just finish with free agent roster upgrades? Will he go after another DT? Might be an internal DT, perhaps a Carlos Watkins, for example, returns. I wouldn't mind a guard. Seems like that's not going to be the case there. They're pretty limited on their available outside free agent normal roster spots based on the UDFAs they like to sign in their just their overall draft class. So, maybe a kicker could still be an option, but I think they're going to let the draft play out there from that standpoint. Brokov, best dark horse offensive rookie of the year candidate: Rashee Rice, Will Mallory, or Keaton Mitchell? I don't love Will Mallory that much. I don't think he can block, so that kind of scares me. I'll go with Rashee Rice. I think will be the first guy taken. I don't mind Keaton Mitchell, though. Someone asked about sleepers earlier. It's a decent sleeper name. He's just very small. He's 5'8", 180. That's small. Not Deuce Vaughn small, but he's not Deuce Vaughn thick either. From Jameis Eats W's, chances of Anthony Richardson going number 1. I'd be pretty shocked. That is Richardson is still going to need some adjustment time in the NFL of just like he does show some flashes of some good pre-snap stuff, some adjustment, but like he hasn't had the same level of coaching, the experience, the game reps. So when you're trading away a future one, you do want to get the best quarterback potentially, but you also don't want to put yourself in a Richardson was bad for year one. You just traded a top 5 pick that could have been a different quarterback there. There's a lot of athletic upside with Richardson, a lot of upside overall. The Dante Culpepper is the real athletic comparison there. It's freak athlete stuff, man. The flaws are fixable. It's mostly mechanical lower body stuff, but he has to make those mechanical changes and still make adjustments to a more actual NFL-style offense and pre-snap reads and post-snap stuff. That's very challenging. There's a lot more risk there. I would not take him number 1 overall. Who would you take number 1 if you were the Carolina Panthers? I think most will say Stroud or Bryce Young, but sound off for me in the comments section. Rashard Lee, should Tyron Smith move to the Jason Peters role? Yes. That is what I would have him do. It's a super chat. Thank you, Rashard. I appreciate that. I would do that. I'd make him your swing tackle, basically, and then probably shuffle some guys around if a guard goes down. But, yeah, I would make him your Peters. Donald Lear, how far do you think the Bears would trade back in the first round? I don't think much further, if at all. They already moved down to 9. So I think they're probably going to make a pick there, whether it's defense or offense. Demon Ford 10. Weird question. But could a team like Seattle, Detroit, or San Francisco make a move for Lamar Jackson? Not a weird question. I think for Seattle, because they paid Geno, they're probably out. At least paid Geno for a year. Now, San Francisco could. 2 big issues. They can't do the signing him to a deal and the Ravens match because they don't have the first-round pick to do it. They have to have their own first. They don't have that right now. So they would have to work out a Lamar agrees to a deal, or Ravens agree to take way less for Lamar. Like it's a lot of hoops to jump through there. Now maybe after the draft things could change a little bit. Also, it does violate antitrust laws for the United States to have Lamar on that team, so keep that in mind. Detroit, though, would be their own first. They'd get to keep number 6. If a move happens, that's the most fun. From Brokov, draft Jake Moody at 26. Hope he's the next Dan Bailey. Hell no. Even at 126. I'll go on my kicker rant here briefly, Sam. He made 82% of his kicks last year, 83%. We sure that's the guy? That's not good. Like that's not good. Like that's worse than Brett Maher. And he's made some clutch kicks. I'll give him that. Like if you want to take a kicker, do it in the 6th round. Not before that. The Bucs will take him because they've drafted 2 kickers already, and they're both off the team in the last 7 years. They're not people. Kept it out of the cut that time for you, Sam. You're welcome. Who has the leverage? Back to the Aaron Rodgers conversation here. J for the Jets, P for the Packers. And I know you're trolling Brokov, but had a kicker rant was there. Had to take it.
I'll be serious. I think the Cowboys should draft a kicker day 2 at the absolute latest.
I hate you.
I'm kidding.
But I genuinely think the Bucs are going to draft him.
Have you done any kicker research yet?
You watched any tape? I looked up Moody's stats. It'll be the very last thing I do. I'll live tweet it. But I did look up Moody's stats, and I'm like, that's not.
I don't even know. Is he the top kicker allegedly in the class?
So I've been told. I was also bullied last year into putting Matt Ariza as the number 1 punter.
And then he was
wasn't the number 1 punter for the reason I said he had no finesse in his game, but I was bullied into it.
No, you got bullied into groupthink. That's fine.
I was bullied into punter groupthink because they're not people. Let me pull up my kicker Buck stat because it is objectively funny use of draft capital.
And by the way, just for the people at home, just a little behind the scenes, Tom sent his draft notes for this year in our group chat this morning, and I'm always excited to look at them because it's always just I always picture Tom.
I will never publish them publicly.
I always,
I'm super mean.
Yeah. There's some funny notes in there. That's what I like. I always picture you like sitting in a dark room late at night. It's just pitch black everywhere around you, and you've just got this TV on, this massive TV, just showing tape, and you just write, "Tough son of a bitch." Holy shit, he's small.
I wrote something along those lines for Max Duggan.
He did. It was tough
effort.
Yeah.
Fun stat here. Since 2016, the Bucs have drafted 2 kickers and a punter. One of them is on their team still.
Ricky Aguayo did they draft, or Roberto
Aguayo, and they drafted Matt Gay.
Oh, yeah.
They drafted Matt Gay. He was terrible, and they cut him, and now he got a almost record-setting kicker contract.
I was going to say, yeah. Who's dumber?
Objectively funny.
Who's dumber, the
draft
Bucs
capital.
for drafting him or the Colts for paying him?
The Colts, because he's a kicker, he might just regress. It is a mental-based position, and they're all soft. So, it's just...
Who do you think's the toughest kicker in the NFL? Who would you want in a fight?
Justin Tucker. The answer to every kicker question
probably.
is Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
No matter what. That's what it is. It is Justin Tucker. He's the only one that's a person, too. Because he's super cool.
I was going to go Fat Randy, just for the size, the bulk.
Just for the volume?
Yeah,
right,
big time.
I guess that's fair. All right, final segment coming up here on NFL Daily. Welcome into Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey. ESPN has posted their new 7-round NFL mock draft. So we're going to break down team by team every single pick from this mock draft with one mistake that ESPN goofed up on there. Now, 7-round mock drafts are a labor of love. They're a lot of time. There's a lot of effort there. So it's a high goal if you want me to do my own 7-round NFL mock draft. We need every single person watching to share it. The share record here at Chat Sports, non-live shows, 654 shares. If we get that, I will do a 7-round mock draft for you guys here at Chat Sports. We'll go team by team in order of their draft picks. So Carolina leads the way. We will go quick so it's not a 45-minute video. Stroud #1, I'm on board there. I actually love this haul. Josh Downs, big fan of his game. Andre Carter has upside. He's going to need some time. I like Henry Toto. Kayshon Boutte, I have no idea what's going to happen with him. Massive boomer bust. Garrett Williams in the 5th round was a really good value pick there for Carolina. It's a damn good haul. The Houston Texans, great first couple picks here. Bryce Young, JSN, Will McDonald. I love that. I like getting a good center, Luke Weipler, who knows JSN very well, number 65. Cool. Dan Henley, great value. Jacorian Bennett, another really good pick there. And then continued, Cameron Latu. I'm a fan of his game. Travius Hodgins Tomlinson, Andrew Voorhees, Deuce Vaughn, Brandon Joseph, Brenton Cox, 12 picks that I like a lot. Now, Joseph did not test that well. I love Deuce Vaughn in the 6th. And I'll spoil it right now, of every team's mock, this was one of my favorite ones. I thought Houston got some awesome players at really good value there. Now, for most people, it'll be Young or Stroud, but who do you think will end up being the #1 overall pick? Make those predictions for me in the comments section right now. Who will be the #1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft? Arizona gets 3 great defensive players to start. Will Anderson, Cam Smith, Siaka Ika. Jalen Duncan is super raw, but there is upside there. The day 3 pick that I like the most, I'm going to go Jarrett Patterson. I think he can be a nice backup guard/center for you in the NFL. The Colts get Anthony Richardson, Keely Ringo as well in round 2. A little bit early for me on him. Same with Tyler Steen. McClendon Curtis out of Chattanooga, a good name to keep an eye on for a smaller day 3 offensive lineman. I like KJ Henry. I think Starling Thomas the 5th, by the way. This might be the most accurate day 3 pick in the mock draft. That is a textbook Colts pick, so I like that Jordan Reed of ESPN, who did the mock draft, by the way, had him going to Indy. Seattle takes 2 Iowa players early. Lucas Van Ness, Jack Campbell, plus they get 2 nice trench guys. John Michael Schmitz. If we do a 2-round mock draft, I'll have the exact same pick, by the way. Jalen Carter, #5. I like Parker Washington in the 4th round, #123. Tanner McKee in the 5th round. I think he's just Mike Glennon, but hey, 5th round is fine. The Detroit Lions, Tyree Wilson, Deonte Banks, 2 physical players, Keanu Benton as a run stopper. Here's Hendon Hooker, number 55 overall, to learn and grow behind Jared Goff potentially. I love the day 3 pick of Dorian Williams and Davis Allen. Both guys, the Tulane linebacker, Clemson tight end, could go a heck of a lot earlier in the actual draft. The Raiders have a lot of picks. It's Will Levis in round 1. I love the Dalton Kincaid value pick there in round 2. Eli Ricks has upside. Byron Young, the Tennessee edge, there's a Bama guy we'll get to here in a little bit. So I'm fine with that. Pick 100. Antonio Maffey's a mauler in the run game. I think J.L. Skinner is some fantastic value. Do not sleep on number 204, Corey Trice out of Purdue. He could be a top 120-ish pick. And also Bam Rodriguez. A lot of good picks here for the Raiders. This is definitely if you believe in Levis, at least, it's an A grade. The Falcons get 3 of my favorite picks relative to where they were taken. Christian Gonzalez, B.J. Ojolari. One of my guys, Tyler Scott, huge fan of his game. Day 3-wise, I've mentioned Carter Warren, potential sleeper there, and then Keaton Mitchell, too, as a scat back in the 3rd round. 2-part ask here. Shout out your favorite team and grade their mock draft. Now, look, you have to watch all the way through, so if you wait to the end, that's fine. We'll remind you then, too. But shout out your favorite team and grade their mock draft in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. The Bears surprisingly take Broderick Jones. I don't love that one. But Isaiah Foskey, round 2. Julius Brents, early round 3. I love that one. Zach Pickens has upside, but he's been a 5-star who never produced there. I like the Xavier Hutchinson pick, along with Carl Brooks, too, in rounds 5 and 4, respectively, for Chicago. Brooks could be a fun 3 technique, potentially, for that Bears defense. Philadelphia, Nolan Smith, Brian Brzee, Marvin Mims, Jair Brown, Muhammad Ibrahim, and Jeremy Banks. It's a thin draft class, Philadelphia. I wonder if they trade down with one of those first-round picks. But I like getting Marvin Mims in round 2. That's an upgrade over Quez Watkins. Tennessee Titans. How about this start? Peter Skoronski and Jalen Hyatt fills 2 massive needs for them. I like Tucker Kraft, the tight end, a lot. I think that's just a little bit not a need because I think Chig Okonkwo is going to be great for them. The Jets get Paris Johnson. That's a home run pick for them. A new starting center in Joe Tippmann. One of my favorite players in Antonio Johnson and Ivan Pace Jr. He's an undersized linebacker from Cincinnati. Highly productive for the Bearcats and the Redhawks where he transferred from of Miami. Now, if you love the NFL Draft, make sure you are subscribed to our NFL Draft YouTube channel, youtube.com/chatNFL. Links in the comment section and the description of today's video. Plus, if you're watching on our draft channel, then hey, make sure you guys are subscribed. The Patriots, they get my guy Devin Witherspoon, a potential starting right tackle in Matthew Bergeron. Nice value pick here in Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee. I love Sidney Brown, and Noah Sewell is going to be a Patriot. That is a textbook Patriots linebacker, so I'll give Jordan Reed a lot of credit for having that type of fit there. A quarterback as well, Jaron Hall at a BYU, who is kind of that whippy arm that can really make some, kind of like Zach Wilson, can throw it off platform, but not the same caliber of prospect, obviously. And then a fullback and a punter, because nothing says Patriots quite like going a fullback and punter round 6, round 7. That fullback, though, Hunter Lupique, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm probably botching this on my pronunciation guide yet. North Dakota State player will be drafted as a fullback, which doesn't happen all that often. To the Green Bay Packers we go. Miles Murphy and Darnell Washington kicking things off. Love that haul to begin. Jaden Reed is a fast receiver who should go in the 3rd round. The day 3 picks that stand out to me beyond Max Duggan at number 256. How about Corey Durden? Run-stopping defense lineman from NC State. I like that one. Evan Hall, by the way, is a Packers-style running back. He's a bigger guy with good straight-line speed. Also, literally has a tough time slowing down. Go watch any of his his runs or even his drills. He does not deaccelerate very well. The Commanders JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., love that fit there. Love Tajay Spears in the third. Zach Kuntz has upside as a tight end, but kind of plays a little soft for me. Day 3, I kind of like the Warren McClendon pick out of Georgia. More O-line help in a not great class is always a good idea. How about this first 4 picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Darnell Wright, Brian Branch, Trenton Simpson, Darius Rush. Those are 4 potential starters there, and I'm a huge Brian Branch fan. That would be quite the haul for Pittsburgh. And I was going through all the picks in order, the first name I got to that went, I have not watched any of him, was Caleb Murphy from Ferris State. I have no Ferris State all 22. If you have it, send it to me. I need it. I do like Broderick Martin and Jalen Marino Cropper as the round 7 picks. I think those guys could go even 2 or 3 rounds earlier than that. Now, we have the best NFL coverage here on YouTube. Daily videos, multiple times per day at this point there. Hit that sub button, all for free, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Tampa goes Anton Harrison. They need a left tackle, so I kind of get that. It's a bit early, though, for me. Derek Hall, Jartavis/Quay Martin out of Illinois there. Trey Tucker, the other Cincinnati receiver. Aiden O'Connell in the 6th round. I'm fine with that. What'd I tell you, Sam? Kicker to the Bucs. It's going to happen. Jake Moody in round 6. Love the Dwayne McBride value pick there. And then there's an orgy to wrap things up. Anthony Orgy out of Vanderbilt, because I am a child, and no, I will not apologize for that. The Chargers take Bijan Robinson, then 2 high upside players. Luke Musgrave from Oregon State, Tui Tuipulotu, who's going to be an edge, by the way. He slimmed down for the combine out of USC. And Trayman Smith, this was like Terrell Smith. I got different actual NFL player named Trayman Smith. But this is like the grouping of like freak athletes. Like B.J. Thompson, unheard of player from Stephen F. Austin, great athletic traits. Joey Fisher out of Shepherd has some untapped potential as well. There are 2 potential Shepherd draft picks this year. Joey Fisher, the O-lineman, Tyson Bagent, the quarterback, who was not in this ESPN mock draft here. The Ravens get Quentin Johnston, and then I don't love anything else. Kenny McIntosh in the 4th round is fine. Rajon Wright I like more than Deshaun Wright, his brother, who's been non-existent for the Cowboys. But 86, that's early for me. Minnesota, they get Jordan Addison, Owen Popo, fine with that one there. Dorian Thompson-Robinson in the 4th round it's a little early for me, but I love the Jalen Redmond pick, the disruptive defensive tackle who's got to check off some medical boxes there in the 5th round. Jacksonville, 3 picks in a row I think are proper value, fill some needs. Osiris Torrance, Clark Phillips, Tank Bigsby, 3 of my guys this year. Great athlete in Yaya Diaby at edge for Louisville there. Bryce Ford Wheaton is an under-the-radar player. Didn't produce much because West Virginia had no good quarterbacks, but it's size, height, weight, speed freak. Aubrey Miller has some fans from Jackson State. Emil Achior has some fans from Bama. I think Josh Wiley could go 100 picks earlier on draft night. The Giants, they get Zay Flowers. Emmanuel Forbes falls to number 57 here. That is the 166-pound ball skill freak. Olu Oluwatimi from Michigan. I like Chandler Zavala more out of NC State. Love Chase Brown's game. Other day 3 picks that stand out. Ronnie Hickman, I think, could go a little bit earlier. Number 240, the safety from Ohio State. NFL draft goes 7 rounds. We are live for all 7. How many will you be watching? Sound off in the comment section. The Dallas Cowboys, as a Cowboys fan, I would kill for these first 3 picks. Kalijah Kancey, Steve Avila. I don't think he gets there. There are too many not good enough guards in this year's class and the need. Zach Charbonnet in the 3rd. Brenton Strange. I could see all those 3 picks there. Avila, Charbonnet, Strange going a full round earlier. I like the Gerard Clark pick out of Coastal Carolina. Definitely fits the mold of what the Cowboys think are looking for this year at DT. Also, Clayton Tune. Dallas publicly wants to take a day 3 quarterback. All right, the Bills. Drew Sanders, linebacker, Keon White, and the better Byron Young, because I like him more, at Alabama. 3 great defensive picks there, and I like the Jonathan Mingo selection as well in the 4th round. So really great start for those Buffalo draft picks there. All right, the Bengals. DeJuan Jones, the new right tackle. Sam Laporta, Love that pick in round 2. Riley Moss out of Iowa. So 2 Iowa guys I think are going to be very good players. Love the value of Sean Tucker in the 5th round. Got to clear some medical stuff on that front. I'll also make note that Muhammad Diabate out of Utah tested quite well at his pro day. So I like those picks for the Bengals there. The Saints, meanwhile, what a haul. The first 5 picks are up there with anybody in this 7-round mock draft here. Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, Mozzie Smith from Michigan, Cody Mock from North Dakota State. Tank Dell is small but electric. Eric Gray in the 5th is a steal. Stetson Bennett, okay, cool. Like, it's a quarterback, fine. 7th round, it's cool. Those first 5 picks, those guys could all be major contributors early on in their NFL careers. The Chiefs, at a time you want, at a Barre, who I think has to play defensive line in the NFL, the interior. Jordan had him at edge. He also had Jervon Dexter as a run stopper. Love A.T. Perry's size. Roshan Johnson is going to be a really fun football player. Wanya Morris is a good offensive lineman. And then the mistake that ESPN made. Number 218, they had Will Mallory to the Chiefs. 218 is the Bears pick. That is not the Chiefs' selection, so the one mistake ESPN made. Move tight end and Will Mallory could also still work, I think, for the Bears if you just want to pretend it's the Bears pick, but that was the one mistake ESPN made. The Rams next up here. Felix Enudike-Uzomah, an instant impact edge. I'm a big fan of his game. I like that one. DJ Turner in the 3rd. Rashee Rice, really good selections. I actually like Jake Haener more than most people, the Fresno State quarterback in the 5th round. And then one of my guys in the backfield as well. Make sure I get the pronunciation right here. Israel Abanikanda, great athlete, young, electric, explosive as all get out from Pitt. Love that selection. The other later day 3 picks, they got a kicker in there. I guess they're people. Charlie Jones, underrated player, had a really good year for Purdue. I think also helped make Aiden O'Connell look better than he actually is. Miami has 4 picks. It is Jahmyr Gibbs, the dynamic running back from Alabama. Love the Luke Schoonmaker fit from Michigan, by the way. Alex Forsythe and M.J. Anderson. Dolphins fans have a boring NFL draft. I'm sorry. Denver Broncos. Producer Sam, our Broncos fan, loved it. Zach Harrison, upside edge. Love Tyreek Stevenson at 68th overall. Zach Evans and Ryan Haynes can both be contributors. I think Evans in the 5th. Look, I've said it so many times today. I love all the back picks. It's a loaded class at running back. The Cleveland Browns, Keandre Coburn, a run-stopping DT. They need that. A fast receiver who can't catch in Trey Palmer. Oh, man, he's Anthony Schwartz, isn't he? I'm sorry, Browns fans. That's mean. DeMarvion Overshone, love that pick at number 111. Kendre Miller can be a nice backup running back for them. I also like Nick Herbig. He's very small as an edge, but highly productive for Wisconsin. Finally, the 49ers. Jalen Jones might need to play safety, but I think Nick Sudavere, I think I pronounced that correctly, had an ODU. Great scheme fit for them. Devon Achane would be electric in that offense. He's so fast, explosive, although maybe RB isn't the biggest need there. DJ Johnson has athletic upside. Payne Durham, part of a great tight end class. Some speed there, and Andre Iasovis out of Princeton. Yeah, he's a Princeton guy this year. Ventrell Miller helps out at linebacker. It's for one top 100 pick, it's a good haul for San Francisco there. If you did not already, shout out your team and grade their mock draft in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. By the way, if you missed it, don't worry. We'll put the entire mock on demand so you guys can just scrub through and go vote at that point there. So, you're muted. A, B, C, D, or F? No, correct. A, B, C, D, or F. Get those votes in. I'll give some shout-outs here once those get in. Niners, F. Ooh, true or Lord, didn't like it. If we're not grading on a scale for not having first-round picks, it should be a low grade because they've no top 100. They've one top 100 pick. It makes it very tough. Miami B, Cowboys C. See, I love the Cowboys mock. That was awesome. Brokovs is A+. What grade did you give Denver?
I'd give that like a B- or B+, A- type type of mock. I think
Give it like a
feels
B minus to not grade on a curve since there's no first.
fair. I mean, it's, there's no, you're knocking out a lot of the needs. Edge, offensive line, another corner alongside Pat Surtain. I didn't mind a lot of that.
Colts D+, Cowboys B+, Chiefs C+. Go ahead and vote for us in the comments section, and make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on our multiple-time weekly live shows, and especially our live NFL draft coverage, all here at Chat Sports. Hit that sub button, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow.